Raising Teens by Colette Smart with Ray Kington.
Do you ever feel weird?
As if.
This is Raising Teens. Ray Kington, joined by psychologist and teacher Colette Smart. Great to have you along as we talk about all things teens. We'd love to hear from you as well via the Hope Media app. Have you got a problem? Doesn't matter how small it might be. Maybe it's a big problem, or maybe it's a really small problem. Colette, like I was telling you off air before, my daughter has this horrible habit of not turning off a tap in a bathroom in the shower. And I've asked her very nicely a few times, and the other day I started yelling at her going, I'm going to lose it if you don't fix it, if you stop doing this. And then I realised I was actually losing it at that moment. And now I need to decide whether or not to just give up on this idea or keep banging on about it. But it doesn't matter how big or how small it is. We'd love to hear from you. We're talking about friendship collapse and maybe increasing your circle of friends outside of school. How do you do that? In our experience, we've had a lot of issues with this with my youngest daughter, who's had a lot of issues, and to the point, and maybe this is, was a bad idea of mine, but I actually at one point suggested to her, "Are you sure it's not you?" And of course that caused a massive meltdown. But I felt like from what I was seeing over and over, maybe I need to ask that question. What are you doing? It certainly went down badly. Let's just say.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that a bad idea?
So, look, Ray, I think what's important to recognise is that our children will all go through relationship stuff, friendship stuff. It's something that brings up pain in parents. I don't know if it's that we recognise or remember some of our own rejections or our loss, and we're trying to fix it for our kids. No one likes to see their kids in pain. We also know that our children aren't perfect little beings, so they do contribute sometimes to the messes or niggles in friendships, and so it's not a bad thing to talk with your child also about their own responsibilities in relationships. But I think what we need to recognise is that there's more and more evidence to show that emotional pain is just as important as treating physical pain. We're actually seeing it light up the same areas in the brain when people are in emotional pain as physical pain. So it's like your body experiences emotional pain the same way. And so, we want to raise resilient children. We don't want our children to face pain unnecessarily. So talking to our children and supporting them when they experience social loss, it could be friendships that fall apart, or it could just be a friend moving away. It could be fights. I think, especially with social media, with our teenagers, this is something we never had, where the problem follows you home.
Yeah. And exacerbated.
Yeah. So we would go home and get a break from it. You could have, the phone with the cord in the lounge room where everyone could hear your discussion with your friends. But here it's private and it's silent, and parents can worry about what's going on. So we may sometimes be tempted to also pass off our children's experiences as insignificant. Oh, I got over it, you just get over it. So I think we must recognize that loss can be long-lasting. It can have long-lasting effects if we don't help our children deal with it. The pain is real for them. So I think what we do know is that as parents, one of the first things is be careful that we don't jump in too much and get involved in the friendship, phoning up the other parent and so on. That goes wrong very quickly. So stay out of it. Unless there's clear bullying going on, that's a different topic. But we need to just stay out of the conflict ourselves. Often the kids become BFFs by Friday. But even if they don't, we need to help our children recognize that friendships shift and change, particularly as they're growing and developing. And it's not a bad thing. It's not that you're a terrible person if you're no longer friends with this person. That is how friendships change over time. I think the important steps are listen and acknowledge their feelings. So let them be real. Help them understand that we're not our feelings. So our feelings do pass. Fill their emotional tank at other times at home, so that when rejection happens, that they do have their family life to fall back on, other friendships to fall back on. Make sure that they have friendships outside of school. I often say to kids, your school life is sort of like your parents' work life. Some of your parents' best friends are not necessarily at their office. It's actually fairly rare for people's close friends to be at their office. You can have close friends that are not at school. They might be at basketball, at piano, or whatever. So helping our child expand their circle, give them healthy distractions when they're at home, encourage that, give them breaks from technology and social media. Social media boundaries are vital for our kids because it gives them a break. And then, just talk to them about what empathy and sensitivity looks like. What do you think a friend looks like? How can you be that to other people?
Yeah.
Some of those most painful moments are times when our children can learn what being a friendship looks like and how they can be one to somebody else.
And I think learning that when you're young is going to serve you well when you're older, because even as adults, there are people that I was great friends with in my 20s, but life has moved on and they've moved away. So you've got to constantly form new friendships. And even only just recently, I had a falling out with a friend I've known for 20 odd years. Wow. But after a few things that were said to me that were very unkind, I decided, this is not a healthy relationship anymore.
Absolutely.
And,
I think
sometimes you have to do that.
And I think you've touched on the fact that teaching healthy boundaries in friendships and relationships is a vital part of relationships.
You'll need it.
Yeah.
You'll need it.
And so the one line that I always encourage parents to ask their children is, what do you need from me to feel supported in this situation? So asking our children to think about what would help them in terms of support, comfort, without jumping in to rescue, but letting them be part of the brainstorming and the solution and moving forward.
Good stuff. Great to talk to you today, Colette. And of course, we'd love to hear from you. If you've got a question, shoot it through the Hope Media app, and we'd love to address it on the podcast.